Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum viewers. Hope you will be fine by grace of Almighty Allah. I am here with your biology lecture. In previous lecture, I told you about the biological problem and biological method. Today, we will go into the detail of biological method. I told you that biological method is a scientific method that is used to solve any biological problem, and you are very well familiar with these biological problems. There may be so many other biological problems as well. There are some examples. Now, in biological method, there are different steps. First step is recognition of biological problem. It means that you have to recognize, or you have to find out, you have to identify the biological problem. If you are studying the environment, you have to identify or recognize any environmental issue, any environmental problem. Then by using this method, first step and the far most important step is recognition or identification of biological problem. Second one is observations. Observations, as you know, we have 5 senses and we have sense organ to make these observations, and where we do not use these sense organs, some instruments or devices are used, such as the things we cannot see with our naked eye. We use microscope to see them, so we can make some observations by using microscope as well. I have given you the example of one instrument. There are so many other instruments used in different problems depending on the nature of the problem. Then the third step is hypothesis formation. Hypothesis mean any supposed thing. When we have a problem and we have made the observation about that problem, we will formulate a hypothesis or tentative idea or tentative explanation about that problem. That will be called hypothesis. After a hypothesis, some reasoning is deduced from the hypothesis. That step is called deductions, and these are if and then. We say that if this happens, and then it will occur in this way. So the deduction is the next step after the hypothesis formation. Then experimentation. When we have made a hypothesis and we have drawn the deductions, then we will conduct an experiment to see that whether our hypothesis is true or not. Then we will summarize the result, and then at the end, this result is published in books, journals, or is presented in national and international seminars or in meetings. Here I am being a scientist, as I am also a researcher and a scientist, and I have done a research. I have done research in my master level as well as in my specialization in MPhil. So I'm going to give you an example, as I have done a research on the smokers. So I made a hypothesis that smoking affects the DNA of the human beings. So this was my hypothesis. For that, I made the questionnaire to take the observations, and I have tested their blood samples to check the content of nicotine and the other cigarette contents present in their blood. So I made the experiment. I made the questionnaire as well. I carried out the experiment to see whether this is damaging their DNA or not. Then I have studied the DNA in detail as well. When I did my experiment and my experiment was completed, I summarized the result, and then at the end I reported the result in my thesis, and that was also published. And so this is the method you have to adopt to solve a biological problem. Now you have to recognize these 7 steps. In the next lecture, inshallah, we will go into the detail of each step, and you will be able to understand well better about this. Thank you. Stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.